गांव का ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण इलाका है जहां पर प्रदर्शन हो रहा था और 20 सड़क पर शव रखकर प्रदर्शन किए जाने के चलते लंबा जाम जो है वो लगने लगा था, जिसके चलते प्रशासन ने जब हल्के बल का इस्तेमाल किया, हल्के बल का प्रयोग किया, उसके बाद ग्रामीणों ने पुलिस वालों को दौड़ाना शुरू कर दिया और पुलिस वालों से सबसे पहले नोकझोंक हुई, आमना सामना हुआ। उसके बाद इन ग्रामीणों ने पुलिस वालों को जो है वो दौड़ाने की कवायद शुरू कर दी। फिलहाल सुमित, अगर इस समय करंट सिचुएशन की बात करें तो वहां पर पुलिस बल अतिरिक्त मंगाया गया है। स्थितियां जो है वो बताया जा रहा है कि लगभग नियंत्रण में है, लेकिन ये तस्वीरें ये बताने के लिए काफी हैं कि कैसे ये लोग जो मुआवजे की मांग कर रहे थे, मृतक के परिजन जो थे मुआवजे के साथ सरकारी नौकरी की मांग कर रहे थे और अपनी मांगों को लेकर वो आश्वस्त होना चाह रहे थे कि जब तक के प्रशासन लिखित में कोई कार्रवाई नहीं करता है, प्रशासन की तरफ से यह रिटर्न में नहीं बताया जाता है कि उनकी मांगों को माना जाएगा, तब तक वो लोग इस प्रदर्शन को खत्म नहीं करेंगे। लेकिन ये तस्वीरें, पुलिस ने हल्का बल प्रयोग किया, उसके बाद इन सभी ग्रामीणों ने मिलकर पुलिस वालों को ही खदेड़ दिया है। टोंक की ये घटना है, अब आगे कार्रवाई क्या होगी, एक्शन क्या होगा, क्योंकि ये तस्वीर अपने आप में बहुत सारे सवाल खड़े करती है कि क्या जो लोग वहां पर प्रदर्शन कर रहे थे, प्रदर्शन के बाद इस तरह का हुड़दंग क्यों हुआ, स्थितियां ऐसी क्यों बनी, किसी ने इस
बिल्कुल गंभीर सवाल भी हैं और अब कार्रवाई की बात भी इस पूरे प्रकरण को लेकर की जा रही है। वैभव, बहुत शुक्रिया इस तमाम जानकारी के लिए। उधर राजस्थान विश्वविद्यालय के महारानी कॉलेज के अंदर मजारों के निर्माण को लेकर विवाद खड़ा हुआ है। कॉलेज परिसर में अचानक से दो
All right, so the pictures coming in from Tonk, Rajasthan, where we see that a massive drama you can see after a youth death. Cops are chased and heckled by villagers in Rajasthan's Tonk. All right, we move ahead. We move ahead right now, viewers, to some of the other stories we're tracking right now. SpiceJet has now finally issued a statement after we saw those pictures which we showed you, where a window of the airline was popping out. And after a window frame of a Goa-Pune SpiceJet flight came loose mid-air, a statement says, and I quote here from SpiceJet, a cosmetic window frame on one of SpiceJet's aircraft became loose during flight and was found dislodged. It is important to note that this was a non-structural trim component fitted onto the window for the purpose of shade and did not compromise the safety or integrity of the aircraft in any way. Cabin pressurization remained normal throughout the flight and there was no impact on passenger safety. And this aircraft is equipped, they say, with multiple layers of window panes, including a robust pressure-bearing outer pane, ensuring that passenger safety is never at risk. Even in the unlikely event of a superficial or cosmetic component coming loose, the frame was fixed upon landing at the next station in accordance with standard maintenance procedures. Okay, so we see that the SpiceJet has gone ahead and put out the statement which I read out for you, where you clearly see, viewers, how this window frame is coming loose. And this happened mid-air. I repeat, this happened mid-air. It was a mid-air scare on a SpiceJet flight. Now we see that there has been an update in terms of SpiceJet coming out with a statement. And what they say is that the cosmetic window frame on one of these SpiceJet's aircraft came loose and was found dislodged. It is important to note that this is a non-structural trim component fitted onto the window for the purpose of shade and did not compromise the safety or integrity of the aircraft in any way. The frame was fixed upon landing at the next station in accordance with the standard maintenance procedures. Okay, so what we see right now, viewers, a SpiceJet calling the incident a cosmetic window frame. You can clearly see that this frame has come out, and this happened mid-air. I repeat, this happened mid-air on a SpiceJet flight. This is just one of the incidents which we have reported on here on Republic TV. How again and again, I repeat, again and again, we have seen technical issues many times when the flight is flying, when the flight has taken off. And I want to go to our guest who's joining us on the phone line, Group Captain G.P. Bajpai, aviation expert, joining us here. Thank you for joining us, Group Captain. And we are trying to understand here what really happened, because a window popping out like that, window frame popping out like that is quite dangerous, even though SpiceJet is calling the incident a cosmetic window frame, Group Captain.
Ma'am, good evening. The way you are telling, it could have been very disastrous and serious accident. unless until, though it will be not correct to go into detail, unless until we know at what altitude aircraft was flying, what has actually happened. These are subject to the detailed investigation. However, in normal circumstances, in case if aircraft is flying between 20-25,000, aircraft is pressurized so that the passengers inside remain in comfortable position. We try to simulate the ground situation. Otherwise, at such a height, the outside pressure remains very low, and that's why we pressurize the aircraft from inside. And in case if any window is bulged out, if it gets open and the nearby passengers are not properly seat belted, they can be sucked out, which has happened in the past. In the aviation, the captain and co-pilot got sucked out because of this depressurization. So further details are awaited the moment we come to know at what height aircraft was flying and how it has happened. It shows clearly the maintenance issue. Either the seats were not, the window bubble was not properly secured. It could have been definitely a very, very serious incident. And in such situation, in case difference of pressure takes place, the oxygen mask drops out, the suddenly pilot has to bring down the aircraft in shortest span of time below 10 to 12,000 feet so that the passengers are comfortable and the outside pressure and inside pressure difference is minimized. Otherwise, at 20-25,000 feet, the outside pressure and inside pressure of the aircraft, there is a lot of difference. Stateway inside pressure will suck out the passengers if they are not properly seat belted.
All right, thank you for joining us there, good Captain GP Bajpa, aviation expert, on this incident where a window has popped out and SpiceJet has given its statement. I really have to move ahead right now because we're getting some more updates coming in. The Kishtwar encounter has entered day 2, viewers, and additional forces have been now deployed. Now this is coming in as we see, according to reports, 2 to 3, I repeat, 2 to 3 Jesh terrorists have been ring-fenced by the security forces, reinforcement deployed to the operation site. It's day 2, viewers, it's day 2 and of this encounter. And I want to go straight across to my colleague who's joining us. We have with us Simran joining us live. 2 to 3 Jesh terrorists still trapped. We understand that. If you could take our viewers through what the operation is looking like right now as we speak.
See, as we speak, the operations are underway. These are the search operations that are being carried out by the Indian Army along with the Jammu and Kashmir Police Special Operations Group and the CRPF. The joint operations continue. It's been more than 20 hours of the operation that started late last evening. The contact was established at 7:40. One terrorist is believed to be injured in the initial exchange of fire when the terrorists tried to hurl a grenade on the security forces. Now what we are being told that this is a pure Pakistani group of Jaish-e-Mohammed that has been active in the area for more than a year's time. Now this group is trying to move from away from this area of Chhatru because the heavy deployment of the security forces that has been done as part of the forces crackdown on terror. But this group was trapped by the forces and it is still believed to be active in that very bowl where it was trapped yesterday. The forces have also pushed in the additional reinforcement of the Indian Army along with the special forces and the Rashtriya Rifles local unit that has been deployed as part of a counter-terror operations. So the operations continue and the forces are hopeful that before the end of the day they will be having some success in the ongoing operation because these terrorists, they are deadly terrorists. They know the jungle warfare. They are trained for the guerrilla warfare, but the forces are trying to neutralize them at an earliest. This is the third encounter in the same area in last 3 months.
That is right. Thank you for joining us there with all those details. I will be coming back to you. Let's move ahead, viewers, right now. We see that one more SP leader has made a controversial remark. That is right. And this is coming in after SP leader ST Hassan has equated the Kawar Yatris to terrorists. Another SP leader, Ravidas Mehrotra, has equated BJP to terrorists. Major political storm erupts once again after senior SP leader Ravidas Mehrotra made a very, very controversial statement comparing the BJP to terrorists. His comments come amid the ongoing row over nameplate verification during the Kawar Yatra in Uttar Pradesh. Mehrotra alleged that the BJP workers were targeting shopkeepers based on their religion. So one more comment coming in, one more controversial comment coming in. We also have some reactions. Let's go ahead and play it up.
देखिए पश्चिम बंगाल में निकल रही है कांवड़ यात्रा और कांवड़ यात्रा में जो लोग दुकान लगाते हैं उनसे उनकी जाति और धर्म पूछा जा रहा है, और यहाँ तक कि उनकी पैंट खुलवा करके देखा जा रहा है कि ये किस धर्म के हैं। पूरे प्रदेश के अंदर जो पीडीए समाज है, इसका भाजपा की सरकार उत्पीड़न कर रही है, धर्म और जात के नाम पर अन्याय कर रही है। तो जो आतंकवादी करते हैं, पहलगाम में आतंकवादियों ने धर्म पूछ करके लोगों की हत्या करने का काम किया, वही काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी कर रही है।
रविदास जी, ये बात शोभा देती है? रविदास जी, आप अपने एक विरोधी दल को देश का दुश्मन आतंकवादी कह रहे हैं, आप आतंकियों से तुलना बीजेपी की कर रहे हैं। वो भी एक राजनीतिक दल है, आप भी एक राजनीतिक दल है, आप कैसी तुलना कर रहे हैं? शोभा देती है बात?
देखिए, मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि आतंकवादियों ने पहलगाम में धर्म पूछ करके 26 निर्दोष और मासूम लोगों की हत्या करने का काम किया। उनको वो लोग शहीद हो गए, और वही काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी कर रही है कि पीडीए समाज के लोगों से कह रही है कि आप अपनी दुकान पर अपना नाम लिखिए। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पूर्व में आदेश किया था कि ये किसी का जात और धर्म पूछ करके।
आपने जो बात कही मैं वो मान रहा हूं, पर आप भी राजनीति कर रहे हैं, वो दल भी राजनीति कर रहा है। एक राजनेता के नाते आप तो दशकों से राजनीति में हैं, आपातकाल को आपने भी देखा है। ये कैसा कमेंट आप कर रहे हैं? शोभा देता है इस तरीके का कमेंट कि ये राजनीतिक दल के कार्यकर्ता को आप आतंकवादी सीधे कह दे रहे, देश के दुश्मन कह दे रहे?
देखिए, हमने आपातकाल देखा नहीं है। हमने आपातकाल में 20 महीने जेल काटी है और 50 सालों से संघर्ष कर रहे हैं। जो पार्टी सत्ता में है, अगर वो लोगों का जाति और धर्म पूछ करके दुकान लगाने देगी, अगर वो कहेगी कि तुम पीडीए समाज के लोग हो, तुमको हम दुकान लगाने नहीं देंगे, तो वो नफरत बढ़ाने का काम कर रहे हैं।
कहाँ पे कहा है? कोई आपने कोई रिकॉर्ड देखा है, कोई कागज सरकार के ऑर्डर में देखा है कि पीडीए समाज को दुकान नहीं लगाने देंगे?
जी, आप मालूम कर लीजिए, पश्चिम उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर जो कांवड़ निकल रही है, उस कांवड़ यात्रा के अंदर जो लोग दलित लोग हैं वो दुकान नहीं लगा पा रहे हैं, जो मुस्लिम लोग हैं या पीडीए समाज के लोग हैं वो दुकान नहीं लगा पा रहे हैं। हर व्यक्ति को ये मौलिक अधिकार है कि वो दुकान लगाएं। अभी आपने देखा होगा, महाकुंभ का आयोजन हुआ, उसमें परिसर में कहीं पर भी जो मुसलमान लोग थे उनकी दुकान लगने दी, और जब वहाँ पर भगदड़ मच गई तो वहाँ पर जो समाज के लोग थे, धर्म के लोग थे, उन लोगों ने अपने घर में रख करके घायलों की रक्षा करने का काम।
बात आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं, ये तो समाज के बीच की बात है, पर क्या राजनीति इतनी गिरावट तक चली जानी चाहिए कि राजनेता एक दूसरे से इतनी नफरत करने लगे कि आतंकी ही एक दूसरे को कहने लगे? शोभा देती है बात?
देखिए, हमारा कहना ये है, हमने ये कहा कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी और आतंकवादी दोनों एक ही सोच रखते हैं, और वो सोच ये है कि धर्म और जात पूछ करके हमला कर रहे हैं।
वो जो आतंकी आए थे विधायक जी, वो जो आतंकी आए थे, लोगों को गोली मारने के बाद उनके परिजनों से कह के गए थे कि जाओ मोदी को बता देना, ये कह के गए थे, और आप उसी नेता की पार्टी के लिए
आज तक वो आतंकी गिरफ्तार क्यों नहीं हुए? वो आतंकी वहां पर पहलगाम में कैसे आगे जनता पूछ रही है, और उसके बाद वहां से धर्म पूछ करके गोली मारी।
आपका सवाल बिल्कुल लाजमी है, सवाल सरकार से पूछने वाला सवाल है, पर इस सवाल के साथ जो बात आप कह रहे हैं, जो तुलना आप कह रहे हैं, जस्टिफाई कैसे करेंगे उसको?
देखिए, हम इस तरह करेंगे कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार नफरत फैला रही है, और जो दलित लोग हैं
वो आप पर आरोप लगा रहे हैं कि आप आगरा में ठाकुर बनाम जो दलित है वो कर रहे हैं, इटावा में आप ब्राह्मण बनाम यादव कर रहे हैं। नफरत पर आरोप भाजपा आप पे लगा रही है, आप भी एक आरोप लगाते हैं, पर सीधे आतंकी कह देना।
देखिए, आगरा में भी और इटावा में भी दोनों स्थानों पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने पहल करी है। वहाँ पर आगरा में जो रामजी लाल सुमन हैं, उनके घर पर बाकायदा पूरा हमला हुआ, और हमला होने के बाद आगजनी हुई। ऐसे ही इटावा में एक धर्म का प्रचारक कर रहा था, वो बैकवर्ड जात का था, इसलिए उसके ऊपर हमला करने का काम किया। तो आज हम ये कहने के लिए मजबूर हो गए हैं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार जो है वो पीडीए समाज का उत्पीड़न कर रही है, अन्याय कर रही है, जुल्म कर रही है, और तानाशाही के माध्यम से अब जो आदमी सरकार की आलोचना करता है उसको ये कह देते हैं कि राष्ट्रद्रोही है। अब हम ये बात कह रहे हैं कि दोनों
करिए राष्ट्र की, करिए आलोचना, सरकार की आलोचना, राजनीतिक दल की आलोचना, ये गलत थोड़ी ना है, लेकिन ऐसी आतंकी कह देना, आपको लगता है कि ये भावना होगी? आप बीजेपी के नेताओं के संग उसी विधानसभा में आप बैठते हैं, विधायकी में चुनकर आप भी आए।
हमने उनको आतंकी नहीं कहा है, हमने कहा कि आतंकवाद जो लोग फैला रहे आतंकी हैं वो भी धर्म पूछ करके हत्या कर रहे हैं, और भाजपा की सरकार भी धर्म और जाति पूछ करके दुकान लगाने दे रही है। अब अगर कोई दलित वर्ग का व्यक्ति है और वो दुकान लगा रहा है तो उससे कह रहे हैं कि तुम अपना नाम लिखो, अपना नाम बताओ कि तुम्हारा किस जाति के हो, किस धर्म के हो। तो इस तरीके से भाजपा की सरकार नफरत फैलाने का काम कर रही है।
I'm getting a reaction from the BJP national spokesperson Shehzad Poonawalla, who slammed the SP for these kind of politics.
समाजवादी पार्टी किस प्रकार के बयान दे रही? पहले कावड़ यात्रा में शामिल होने वाले लोगों को गालियां देना, उनको नफरती कहना, उनकी तुलना पहलगाम के आतंकियों से करना, और अब समाजवादी पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेता ने पूरी भारतीय जनता पार्टी और उसके तमाम कार्यकर्ता, करोड़ों कार्यकर्ता, उसके नेता जिनको देश की जनता ने चुना है, उनको आतंकियों से तोल रहे हैं, उनकी तुलना आतंकियों से कर रहे हैं, कह रहे हैं बीजेपी इक्वल्स टू टेररिस्ट। बीजेपी की तीसरी बार कंटिन्यूसली सेंटर में सरकार बनी है। क्या जनता ने टेररिस्ट को वोट दिया? बीजेपी की सरकार आज एनडीए के साथ साथ अनेकों राज्यों में है। क्या जनता ने टेररिस्ट को वोट दिया है? समाजवादी पार्टी के लिए पीएफआई और सिमी आतंकी नहीं है। जनता के द्वारा चुने गए नुमाइंदे जो राष्ट्रवादी है वो उनके लिए आतंकवादी है।
I'm getting some big breaking up is coming in right now, viewers, and now we are understanding the DGCA has summoned SpiceJet officials. DGCA has also summoned the crew and the pilot of the flight under scanner. And the DGCA sought a detailed report from SpiceJet. The DGCA will also be interrogating the SpiceJet officials. Big update coming in right now, viewers. DGCA summons SpiceJet officials. Viewers, this is huge because we're coming to know, viewers, this is happening post that incident that we told you about. Multiple incidents are coming out on the front of passenger safety being compromised, especially mid-air. And now we are learning that DGCA summoned, I repeat, has summoned the SpiceJet officials after we saw that picture. I repeat, that picture of the window frame coming loose, that too mid-air, viewers. It created a huge panic for the passengers when a Goa-bound SpiceJet flight's cabin window frame came loose. Even though the airline says there was no safety risk, big questions keep being raised on passenger safety being compromised. Crew and the pilot of the SpiceJet flight have now been summoned, and the officials have also been summoned in this case. SpiceJet flight from Pune to Goa sparked panic among passengers after a window frame inside the cabin came dislodged mid-air, and the airline though says there was no compromise when it comes to safety. However, we're coming to know that DGCA is not letting this go and will be interrogating the officials and the crew and pilot on what exactly happened. Why did this window frame come loose, and why was this not checked before the flight took off? Back to back up is coming in right now on Ripple TV, viewers. The passengers saw this. We see a recording as well, which you can see on your screen. This is a mid-air scare on the SpiceJet. This is coming in as a string of incidents are being reported of technical issues, glitches, especially when an airplane takes off with passengers. All right. Once again, we have with us, viewers, Group Captain GP Bajpai, aviation expert, joining us right now. And you were telling us, Group Captain, you know how dangerous what we see on a screen is. Window coming out, popping out. Now the DGCA summoned SpiceJet officials. What do you think is the line of questioning to them? How did this happen, Group Captain?
Ma'am, it is by looking at the video, it's a very, very extremely serious situation. If it has taken place in air, anything could have happened. Few passengers could have been sucked out. Everything depends on at what altitude it has happened and what was the cabin pressure differential, like outside pressure and inside pressure difference, how much it was there. And in such situations, captain was supposed to warn all the passenger, and he is supposed to lower the altitude of the aircraft so that he comes within the normal air, and so many precautions is to be taken. These windows are glued properly. It is to be seen by the maintenance staff. The DGCA has to check it. Was there any this window panel was replaced recently? Have they used proper glue? Have they given proper curing time? In fact, it's a very, very serious issue. And DGCA should go into detail and find out so that such incidents are not repeated in future.
All right, thank you for joining us there, Group Captain, with what you are trying to help our viewers understand. You're trying to help our viewers understand that this was definitely a risky incident which took place. And right now the DGCA has summoned the officials and the crew. Taking a short break. Much more coming up. 1 devotee killed, viewers, and 8 injured after 10 collapses at Bageshwar Dham in MP. Citing public humiliation by Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, Karnataka police officer tendered his resignation. Stay tuned, viewers. We are live in breaking.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूम देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी। अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने। I don't know. I think we'll have to take a look. We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible? He gets a lot of subsidies, Peter.
Let's go ahead and see what else is happening in the next segment. Bharat in 1 minute. Let's get started.
Bharat 1 minute brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
Moradabad turns into a fortress as CCTVs are being installed in the city. Security has been heightened ahead of Muharram and the Kawar Yatra in Moradabad.
देखिए, आगामी जो हमारे कांवड़ यात्रा और मुहर्रम का जो त्यौहार है, इसको लेकर के हम लोगों ने हम अपनी लगभग सभी तैयारियां पूरी कर ली हैं। इसमें जो भी होमवर्क हमारे लेवल से होता है, हम लोग के लेवल से सारी हम लोगों ने पूरी कर ली हैं। सभी थाना क्षेत्रों में सभी लेवल्स पे जो पीस कमेटी मीटिंग्स वगैरह होती हैं, सब पूरी की जा चुकी हैं।
Amarnath Yatra begins. The Jammu and Kashmir devotees start their trek towards the holy cave of Sri Amarnath from the base camps. Heavy rains wreak havoc across Rajasthan. Roads turned river in Ajmer. Meanwhile, in Jodhpur, flooding triggered major traffic stalls. Rains expected to continue over the next 24 hours. SDRF rescued around 40 devotees stranded in the Sonprayag landslide zone while on their way back from Kedarnath Dham. Debris suddenly fell late at night near Sonprayag on the way to Kedarnath Dham, due to which more than 40 pilgrims were stuck.
सफल बनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रूंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रूंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
ED shares new details in court in National Herald case, says it is a classic case of money laundering. Parliamentary Affairs Minister speaks to all opposition parties. Removal motion to be brought in Parliament against Justice Verma. When devotee killed, 8 injured after 10 collapses at Bhageshwar Dham in MP. Citing public humiliation by Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, Karnataka police officer tenders his resignation. And the SpiceJet flight window panel pops out of its socket. Airline downplays incident, calls it a cosmetic window frame. DGCA pulls up SpiceJet. After illegal tractor trolley crushes youth, mob goes after Tonk police in Rajasthan. Alright viewers, getting you some big breaking is coming in. An interim trade deal between India and the United States is likely to be finalized in the next 48 hours with negotiations underway in Washington. India's trade team extends its stay in Washington last week to iron out key differences as the two sides look to clinch a mini deal before the July 9 deadline when the pause on US tariffs is set to be lifted. Both sides have dug in their heels over a number of issues, including Washington's demand that India open its market to genetically modified crops, a long-standing red line for New Delhi due to risks to its farmers. Okay, so we see that there could be a very, very important trade deal which could be finalized in the next 48 hours between India and US. And to understand what could be in that trade deal and why is it important that just want to go to Abhishek Kapoor, our senior executive editor for that. Yes, Abhishek, big inside scoop on India-US trade deal. What could be inside it? And it's very, very anticipated. This trade deal is very, very anticipated, Abhishek.
Well, yes, Shivangi, so give me some time to explain to our viewers as to what's really happening. Intense negotiations are taking place as we speak. In fact, one of those interlocutors I spoke to told me that this is a trade equivalent of what's called in the military an eyeball-to-eyeball standoff, so to say. And, clause by clause, section by section, line by line, comma, words, etc. All those things are into the play insofar as these negotiations are concerned. What we are getting to here is that a mini deal is likely to be signed now or agreed upon now as part of a trade-off to meet the July 9 deadline of President Donald Trump. And then subsequently, the more difficult or meatier issues, for example, India's contention on the steel and aluminum duties, and also the automobile industry, automobile exports to the United States, and from the American side, the issue of genetically modified crops and larger agricultural exports from them to us, particularly of maize and soybean. Those are the issues for which both the sides might buy time in terms of India telling the Americans, okay, fine, we will go back to our rule book, we will go back to our certification processes and maybe, make some amendments in a manner that if not directly genetically modified crops, but processed products, for example, in the case of maize, instead of buying genetically modified maize, we might end up buying ethanol, which is used for blending in biofuel in India. And in fact, there is a huge demand for which in the last few years, it has grown to by about 500% in terms of India's imports. So all those nitty-gritties are being worked out. So you can expect that in the mini trade deal, issues like steel and aluminum duties perhaps might be deferred for later. The issue of genetically modified crops and the direct import might be deferred for later because it's a ticklish issue in India with a large section of the agricultural leadership and the industry leadership not really interested in genetically modified crops at this stage. The experience has been mixed in terms of BT cotton, for example, and there are not enough studies to support that in India. We can hit the ground running insofar as GMOs are concerned. So all those things are there. But as of now, what we are hearing is that a mini trade deal between India and the United States is in the offing and possibly to be announced, if not in 48 hours, then definitely over the next 3 or 4 days.
Right, Abhishek. In fact, as if we could just elaborate on the roadblocks that were in the path of this trade deal, like agriculture you mentioned, even dairy industry is one, where this is a very sensitive point between the two countries. So if you could help our viewers understand the challenges that have come in between the two countries as far as the trade deal is concerned.
Well, I completely missed the question, Rakshita, but, there are other aspects of the trade deal which perhaps constitute a low-hanging fruit. So, for example, the Americans want more apples to be exported to India. Now, as of now, America accounts for about 9 or 10% of total apple imports of India. Now, there is a catch. Much of the apple imports come from Turkey and New Zealand. Now, in the immediate backdrop of Operation Sindoor, the kind of relationship that has panned out with Turkey and the manner in which Turkey conducted itself standing with Pakistan, then maybe we could allocate some of the quota from the Turkish apple imports to the Americans. And that's just, as I said, one of the low-hanging fruits. These are challenging conversations and negotiations, to say the least. As I mentioned, very difficult talks at some level, to the extent that one interlocutor, in fact, suggested that in military terms, this would be called an eyeball-to-eyeball situation. But still, a lot of progress has happened, and both the sides are aware that something has to happen before July 9. Remember, even in the absence of a trade deal, the United States has already put in a base of 10% of duties, and they can go up to 26%, as was announced earlier in the month of February. So obviously, on both the sides, there is a certain deadline in mind before which at least a mini trade deal is expected, which, as I mentioned, if not 2, definitely 3 or 4 days.
Right, Abhishek, thanks so much for joining us with those details coming in on that story, viewers. We shift our focus to a breaking news coming in. Now, the DGCA has summoned the SpiceJet officials. DGCA has also, in fact, summoned the crew and the pilot of the flight under scanner. DGCA has sought a detailed report from SpiceJet, and it will also be interrogated by the DGCA. So the crew members will be interrogated. DGCA to seek the maintenance sheet of SpiceJet. Remember, there has been this visual you have. This is the mid-air scare. This window frame was going off. This window frame was loose, and this happened while the plane was mid-air. However, there was no safety issue that was reported. But remember, this is very important as far as the cabin pressure is concerned, and anything can happen if this this window comes off and there is a change in the cabin pressure. And SpiceJet officials, in fact, the SpiceJet had in a statement said that this was just is not a necessary part of the frame that was off, it says, but we can clearly see the whole window coming off. SpiceJet said it was there's nothing to be concerned about, if I could just summarize what they said. But now DGCA is going to review and question SpiceJet officials on this. All right, viewers, we have some more updates coming in right now. This is again after the mid-air window scare, viewers. This is a Ministry of Civil Aviation has also sought report from the DGCA on action taken against SpiceJet and further reports on SpiceJet Goa-Pune flight window incident. For now, the aircraft is in isolation bay, and its fitness report has been submitted to DGCA by the SpiceJet. So it's apart from the DGCA, that is the aviation watchdog, the Ministry of Civil Aviation has also sought action and taken report from the DGCA. We have J. Venkateshwar Rao, aviation expert, joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Rao, we see these complaints are incessant, and in this case, sir, help us understand what could have happened, because there could be a change in cabin pressure when the window frame comes off mid-air, sir. It's a serious concern which SpiceJet, in fact, had tried to just shrug off as something that was not very important, not a very crucial part, or not a very important part of the makeup of the window that had come out.
SpiceJet might be right in a way, but the fact is it reflects that window pane was not checked properly. It should not come out. The thing is, if that opens up, there's a possibility of more pressure coming onto that point. There'll be more pressure because the pressure in the aircraft is more, so it's going to go out. So the outer panel could also have been damaged, but it has not happened so far. But there has been a maintenance lapse, so somebody needs to answer for that. It should not happen at all. Whether it's a display panel or just for the sake of aesthetics, but still it should not be coming out mid-air, that too. And it will definitely, the passenger psychology as on today is very bad. I mean, they are scared to fly with what are the incidents taking place. So SpiceJet should have been a little bit more careful on this.
Right, sir. And there are many of these passengers have also questioned the worthiness of the aircraft. But why do you think, despite such a big tragedy that has happened, in the biggest tragedy that happened just recently, and we see that such lapses are occurring time and again across airlines? So what do you think should be done? Because the DGCA has finally woken up. We see some inspections going on in airports and also aircraft. But how long will it take to be, how long will it take for all these problems to stop being reported and stop happening, in fact?
The rot is on the top in the DGCA. And they this is actually everybody's covering up for what has happened earlier. Like I have been telling you all time and again, these lapses have been taking on. DGCA has been sleeping. DGCA is a Rip Van Winkle. It wakes up when an incident happens and goes back to sleep. Like today, the DGCA has called for something. That means somebody has not conducted a check, a surprise check will keep the engineers of the airlines on their toes. But then that is not happening. They sit in their air-conditioned office. When there is incident, then they say, okay, send us the report. Why should that be happening? Surprise regs should be conducted. Because surprise checks were conducted earlier, they realized that Air India was fudging, but still no action has been taken. See, the DGCA is the most complacent body, and that is where the whole problem lies. And this is something that has been going on for so many years. So it's like the branch has turned to one side, bringing it back to the normal is going to take some time. But then in the aviation industry, time is of the essence. They should do it right away. They don't have that much time.
Right, sir. Mr. Venkateshwar Rao, thank you so much for joining us with details coming in, with your views, in fact, on that story, viewers. So once again, we see a lapse reported now in the aviation sector. Now the DGCA has taken cognizance of the matter. Okay, we have some breaking news coming in right now. This is the latest update in the National Herald case. Now, the ED says that the Congress devised this modus operandi to avoid the limelight, in fact, just to deflect the attention. So ED has told court that it's a classic case of money laundering and that every individual who was responsible to run the business will be liable. So the ED, the Additional Solicitor General has said that Associate Journals Limited owns assets worth 2,000 crore rupees. This is ED has shared cases, in fact shared the details of the case. SB Raju has also spoken up, the Additional Solicitor General. Listen in.
I have completed my arguments subject to my rejoinder. The other side was to argue at 2:30, but it was inconvenient, so they've asked time till tomorrow, which the court has agreed. I made out a case that it's an absolutely fabulous case as far as taking of common is concerned. It's an open and shut case.
Sir, you made a submission before the court today that Young India is a vehicle, a paper entity that was used. What was this and what your submission is?
You are all present in the court. Young Indian was used for the purpose of usurping properties worth almost 2,000 crores of AGM. That's our case. And it's documented. It's an open and shut case.
Colleague Riyanka joins us live in the broadcast for more. Riyanka, tell us what really happened in the court today.
Well, Rakshita, the hearing has been going on for the last 2 days, and especially if we have to understand yesterday and even today, it was the Enforcement Directorate side which was represented by SV Raju, the Additional Solicitor General. He had put forward his arguments and he had made several claims of Congress party being very well aware of the conspiracy which was going behind siphoning off the assets of Associate Journal, which were around amounting to nearly 2,000 crore rupees, and the Congress party was in fact very much aware about it. In fact, what we understand that from the side of the Enforcement Directorate, the arguments are over, and today post-lunch, it was from the side of the Congress party that Abhishek Manu Singhvi was supposed to appear, but as he was busy in another case hearing, this will be continuing for tomorrow. So the Congress's side will be represented in front of the Rouse Avenue Court tomorrow. The hearing will be done on that note. But what we understand, the side from the Enforcement Directorate that made it very clear that it is a classic case of money laundering, and the Congress party have been beneficiaries of it, and they have been very clearly aware. And in Congress party, essentially, they have mentioned names of Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, as well as Sam Pitroda. We understand that these names have been involved in the charge sheet as well, which was created by the Enforcement Directorate. So now the case is gaining its momentum, and we have to wait and see what are the arguments from the side of the Congress party, which will be put forward in front of the court tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Riyanka, for joining us with those details coming in on that story, viewers. Now we have some more breaking news coming in, and this is from Karnataka. Now, Dharwar's Additional Superintendent of Police, Narayana Baramani, has decided to take voluntary retirement just days after being publicly humiliated by the Chief Minister of Karnataka, Siddaramaiah. Now, the incident which sparked outrage across police and administrative circles is now taking a serious turn with Baramani stepping down from his service. Development has intensified the political storm surrounding Chief Minister's alleged high-handed behaviour. So there you have, viewers, how the Karnataka Chief Minister had humiliated the policeman, had humiliated the cop on stage, and now he has, for some reason, chosen to step down. He attempted to slap the IPS officer on stage. Siddaramaiah insulted the police on stage, and now the additional SP, Baramani, has taken voluntary retirement. So, viewers, we'll get you more details. This is a visual of what happened during an event. Karnataka Chief Minister humiliated a cop on stage, and Abhishek joins us live in the broadcast from Bengaluru. Abhishek, well, tell us more, the details. Is there any reason that has been given by the police officer for taking VRS?
Well, Rakshita, we had clearly seen on the stage when CM Siddaramaiah was addressing the gathering in Belagavi, which was against the rise of the union government 2 months ago. Some of the BJP people who were assembling in front of the public gathering wanted to protest against CM Siddaramaiah, and that is when CM Siddaramaiah invited or called for Additional Superintendent of Police Narayan Baramani on the stage, and he is very clearly seen to have gone a step ahead to show the action of slapping the police officer in front of the stage, and also the entire media had covered this incident. After which the additional SP has decided to take a voluntary retirement.
Stay on with us, Abhishek. Abhishek, stay on with us. We have the former Commissioner of Police, Bengaluru, Bhaskar Rao, joining us. Mr. Rao, how do you see this development? First, the Chief Minister of Karnataka humiliates the cop on stage, tries to slap him on the stage, and the IPS officer has now taken voluntary retirement.
Yeah. He's not an IPS officer. He worked as my inspector when I was IGP of Northern Range.
Okay.
And he's a very good officer, having put in about 30 years of service. Now, he was performing the duty of protecting the Chief Minister from crowds. The Chief Minister could have used better language rather than abusing a policeman in uniform and raising his hand to slap him. This is absolutely unpardonable behavior towards a policeman on duty. And Siddaramaiah is not new to ill-treating officers as well as policemen. And now, out of disgust, anger, and disbelief and insult, the police officer has resigned, though he has got 4 more years of service left over with him. So, you must have also seen how he placed officers of the rank of Commissioner of Police under suspension last month after the Stampede incident also. So, this is not the way to behave with your own officers, humiliating them and expecting them to be loyal also over there.
You know, Mr. Rao, this is, this is intimidation, humiliation, threatening of a policeman on stage by these netas. And we've seen a pattern, time and again, how the policemen are being, humiliated. They have often been humiliated by those in power. This is not the first incident that we've seen, sir. Do you think that their precedent must be set that, such behavior is not continuous, never goes unchecked, sir?
See, the buck stops with the Chief Minister. If somebody else behaves like that, you can bring it to the notice of the Chief Minister. And the Chief Minister himself behaves like this, to whose notice will you bring it? You can only have to gulp down all the insult and intimidation and humiliation, that's all. And I am also telling you that policemen don't forget their insult. They keep it like have an elephantine memory, and when these people are outside power, somewhere or the other, they get it back from the police officer who has been humiliated. But Siddaramaiah has not done this for the first time. He has insulted IAS officers, women IAS officers also in the past. And definitely this is not the way to treat officers. I have worked as a police officer from the time when Bangarappa was the Chief Minister, followed by Veerappa Moili, Dharam Singh, SM Krishna, etc. But none of them behaved in a way which was so insulting. If you want to correct something, do it in the 4 walls of a room. Everybody is willing to be corrected, but not be humiliated in front of thousands of people when you are doing your own job. After all, what is it he was doing? He was protecting the Chief Minister from surging crowds. He could have told the same thing to the police officer that let the crowd come and meet him, instead of raising his hand to slap him, which his own minister held him back, and the officer also darted backwards to avoid. what would have happened? The chief police officer had also reacted on ground.
Right,
Should
sir.
have definitely-
Mr. Bhaskar Rao, thanks so
Definitely
much. Mr. Bhaskar Rao, thanks so much for joining us with your thoughts and your views on that story. Meanwhile, we have other news that we are tracking. In fact, we continue to get you more updates on the top story we're tracking, but in the meanwhile, we'll slip into a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back soon.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
Future wars will be conducted based upon intelligence input gathered from enemy's territory. Suppose there is a war with Pakistan or China or even Indian Ocean region, then we have to know what exactly Pakistan is doing in depth, what they are doing towards their military assets, which are closer to Afghanistan border, closer to Iran border. Similarly, in Tibet, in case there is a skirmish with China, we would like to know what is PLA doing in Tibet or even in depth in China. Similarly, in case there is a war, Pakistan Navy or PLA Navy may operate from Indian Ocean region to cause damage to our coastal installations.
SpiceJet flight window panel pops out of its socket. Airline summoned by DGCA. Citing public humiliation by Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, Karnataka police officer tenders his resignation. One deputy killed, 8 injured after 10 collapses at Bageshwar Dham in MP. After illegal tractor trolley crushes youth, mob goes after Tong police in Rajasthan. It's another huge win. Ornob hits 83.6%. Viewership swells even further. Landing channel share dwindles to dust. Single digits continue for the Lutyens. Right, viewers, we get you breaking news coming in right now. The SpiceJet aircraft with window mishap as a Q400 engine we learn about. Now, the same Q400 engine is Bombardier's Q400 engine. Earlier, SpiceJet aircraft with same engine was overhauled for technical issues. So there's a history of technical issues with this aircraft, it seems. And the engine is Q400 and it was overhauled. So there was an issue already. It was overhauled, and this aircraft also had this loose window issue. So clearly, you can see that there are recurring issues with this aircraft. There were recurring issues with this aircraft. It's a SpiceJet flight, and now the DGCA has also summoned the SpiceJet crew members as well, SpiceJet officials as well, and also sought the maintenance sheet of the SpiceJet. And there you have, even the Ministry of Civil Aviation, viewers in this case, has sought details, has sought a report, because this is a recurring issue. The engine was also overhauled, and what was the issue? We do not know yet with the engine, but yes, it was indeed overhauled, and that's of course, it received 2 overhauled engines from Standard Aero, what we know. This is for Q400 aircraft, as part of a phased fleet's restoration plan. So that's the breaking news we have right now. This is the case of the window pane that had fallen off, the window frame rather. SpiceJet now being questioned, and we'll get you more details. We'll keep a close eye on that story. Meanwhile, we have some more breaking news coming in. This is from Karnataka. Now, Dharwar's Additional Superintendent of Police, Narayan Baramani, has decided to take voluntary retirement. This after Chief Minister of Karnataka, Siddaramaiah, had humiliated him on stage. So this is a story that we are tracking very closely as Karnataka Chief Minister. There you have the visual where he attempted to slap the policeman on stage. There you have, he raised his hand and attempted to slap the cop on stage, and now the same cop has taken voluntary retirement. What happened? Is it resentment? Is it disappointment? Or was he pressurized? We do not know what has happened. Why has he taken voluntary retirement? But that's the latest update we have. The officer, the cop, who was humiliated by Siddaramaiah, has taken voluntary retirement. And we have Abhishek joining us on the broadcast. From Abhishek, tell us more details about what had happened back then during this event, just for the benefit of our viewers, and also now any reason that has been given by the policeman for his voluntary retirement.
Well, Rakshita, this incident happened at around 2 months prior, when the Congress party had planned to conduct a protest or open stage statement against the union government's price hike. So this is when a big group of people from the BJP party wanted to protest against the price rise by the state government as well, and wanted to show the black flag to the CM who was on the speech on the stage that day. That is when CM Siddaramaiah invited or ordered the ASP of that district to come on stage, namely Baramani, who went on the stage. The video clearly shows where CM Siddaramaiah raised his right hand to show that he would be slapping the ASP in front of the people who had gathered at least around 20 to 30,000 people who had assembled there had witnessed the incident, and also not only those people, the entire country had to witness that even because CM Siddaramaiah is very cleanly seen that he raised his right hand, and the action was also very clear, and the officer who was called on stage took a step behind so that he didn't want to answer back to the CM right on the stage. Now, Bharamani, after facing humiliation and contention from his department and by the Chief Minister of Karnataka, he has decided to take the voluntary retirement service from his police service, after which he has also submitted his requisition to the Karnataka state government. Talking to the Republic team, Bhaskar Rao, who is also the top cop, mentioned that Bharamani had at least 4 more years of service left. He was the additional superintendent of police, and also now the government had offered him a position for making sure that mistake is forgiven. They have also spoken to him, stating that he will be made the deputy commissioner of police in the next coming days, and they have also requested him to take back the resignation, because this will be a backlash on CM Siddaramaiah's government. So at this point of time, the entire people of Karnataka had witnessed the arrogance and the style of CM Siddaramaiah, where he openly raised his hand on a public police officer who was actually trying to protect the stage from other people entering on the stage. So this is very clear, and not only in this incident, we've also seen in the RCB Stampede incident where the police were made the scapegoat, and this is one of such incidents from the Karnataka state government where the police have been made a scapegoat.
You know, Abhishek, just stay on with us, because clearly that the Karnataka government attempted a damage control move. Just take a listen in, viewers, to what the cop had said, Narayan Bharamani, and I would request Abhishek to please translate what he's saying.
ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಗೃಹ ಸಚಿವರು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದರು. ಈಗ ನಾನು ದೈನಂದಿನ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಜರಾಗ್ತೇನೆ.
Baramani is saying that I have always been part of a disciplined department. I have conveyed my feelings to my superiors. My senior officers, the Chief Minister and the Home Minister have spoken about this matter. I am now reporting for my routine duties. And when he was asked about his next plan of action, the ASP said that the government will decide.
ಈ ಕುರಿತು ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಗೃಹ ಸಚಿವರು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದರು. ಈಗ ನಾನು ದೈನಂದಿನ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಜರಾಗ್ತೇನೆ.
ಸರ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಈಗ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ ಸರ್? ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ?
The reporters are asking him whether his resignation was accepted, and the ASP is heard saying that the government will decide on that. But what we understand right now from his statement is that he has conveyed his feelings to his superiors and he has now returned to his duties. That's what ASP Baramani has said in his latest reaction after he was publicly humiliated by Karnataka Chief Minister.
Right, Deepak. So there you have it, was IPS Baramani. They're reacting and saying that it's up to the government and it's up to, of course, those who have to approve. They will take a call on his voluntary retirement. But of course, he has said that he has conveyed his feelings, what he felt about the what he felt about this humiliation. Of course, it has not gone on well with him, of course, and he has conveyed feelings to his superiors, and his senior officers and the Chief Minister and Home Minister have spoken about this matter. Mr. Baramani says, and that he continues to report for his routine duties. Abhishek continues to be with us. Abhishek, well, so it of course remains to be seen what call is really taken by the government. But tell us this damage control move that was in fact taken up by the Chief Minister, by G. Parameshwara, who had in fact reportedly dialed the cop and said that he will be given a new posting.
Yes, Rakshita, what we have been informed by the closest sources of the Karnataka state government is that the Chief Minister along with the Home Minister wanted to control the damage which they've already created, and they've already lost it in front of the people of Karnataka. So they have decided, or the sources claim so, that the government is offering the position of Deputy Commissioner of Police to ASP Baramani, who was publicly humiliated. The government has also had a conversation or also have placed a request in front of him, to which he has already negated, is what the sources claim as of now, because Baramani didn't want to get back into the same government, or didn't want to be a part of Siddaramaiah's government after he being publicly humiliated in front of all the people. Also, he mentioned that in his resignation letter that the police officers on duty aren't being treated properly and dignifiedly in the Karnataka state government, which is currently run by Congress, and also mentions that without dignity and the respect, one officer cannot function in such a government, and this is one of the major reasons as to why he decided to get off from his duty by taking the voluntary retirement service. And also, he mentions that the humiliation that caused on the date of event, he couldn't face his family, he couldn't face the lower level officers, and none of the people who actually looked high upon him were feeling bad and feeling low about the way he was treated on the stage in front of the public gathering. So he has decided not to go with the government's offers is what the closest source of the police department as of now claims. So we will have to see what Baramani will have to speak to the media after.
Yes, Abhishek, I request you to please stay on with us. We have some more breaking news coming in from Karnataka. It's BJP MP Basavaraja Bommai, who has raised fresh concerns over the alleged 2.5-year power-sharing deal between Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar, calling it a major obstacle to governance. He claims the deal left the state's administration in disarray as leaders struggle to secure their positions. In response to Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's recent remarks about completing a full 5-year term, Bommai has further questioned the stability of the Congress-led government, suggesting that such statements fuel doubts among both party members and the public. The BJP MP expressing concerns on Karnataka power tussle. The former Chief Minister of Karnataka and BJP MP Basavaraja Bommai is talking about the internal feud in the Karnataka government and saying there's a challenge and that this CM deal has left the state in disarray. Listen in, viewers, to what Basavaraj has said.
See, from the day one, on the formation of this government about 2.5 years back, this buzz is going on. There is a deal for 2.5 years of Siddaramaiah and 2.5 years for D.K. Shivakumar. And this has got a lot of bearing on the stability of the government, administration, and as well as fight for corruption. Therefore, the Karnataka people are suffering, and every day there are statements from both sides MLAs and ministers speak. One seeks change in leadership, and somebody says Siddaramaiah will be there for 5 years.
So Abhishek continues to be with us. Abhishek, well, we see that this speculation and this constant, tug of war for power within the Karnataka government continues, and now we have the BJP also raising questions. We have the former Chief Minister saying it's a major obstacle to governance, this so-called deal between Siddaramaiah and DKS. All right, we seem to have lost that connection with Abhishek, but we keep a close eye on that story from Karnataka. Viewers, meanwhile, we shift our focus to the other stories that we are tracking. In fact, there is breaking news coming in right now. All right, we have the politics on Kanwad Yatra that continues, viewers. After Samajwadi Party leader S.T. Hassan equated the Kanwad Yatris to terrorists, the vigilantes to terrorists rather. Today, another SP leader, Ravidas Mehrotra, has equated the BJP with the terrorists. So the politics and the these insulting remarks continue from the Samajwadi Party netas, the Samajwadi Party leaders. So they are now equating BJP with the terrorists. A controversial statement. Controversy escalating over the dhaba identification, the license display issue. BJP attacks by asking religion and caste, says Mehrotra, says that terrorists also ask religion before killing. Listen in. Viewers, we have breaking news coming in right now. BJP has appointed a new state unit chief of West Bengal, and Shubhendu Adhikari has made the announcement on X. And I quote him, "It is with immense joy I extend warmest congratulations to Sri Shamik Bhattacharya on his prestigious appointment as the new president of the Bharatiya Janata Party West Bengal unit," unquote. So BJP has appointed a new West Bengal state chief minister, and this is Shamik Bhattacharya, who has now been appointed. And of course, it becomes very crucial. This is coming in ahead of the polls in West Bengal next year. So it's a new West Bengal chief that has been appointed. So it was Shukanta Majumdar was leading the BJP state unit till now. He is the union minister. He has been succeeded by Shamik Bhattacharya. So that's the breaking news we are getting in right now. West Bengal BJP chief Shamik Bhattacharya. And this has been, he has been unanimously elected as the West Bengal BJP president, tasked with uniting party ahead of the assembly elections. And it's of course a crucial move. And he filed the nomination for the post of BJP president, accompanied by outgoing state president Shukanta Majumdar, leader of opposition Shubhendu Adhikari, and no other candidates filed nomination for the post. And he has been unanimously elected to the post. The 62-year-old BJP leader, party loyalist, and has been associated with the BJP for 4 decades, and he's been associated with the party since 1990s. In fact, he has been a Rajya Sabha MP from West Bengal since April 2024, and a prominent face of the party, has been the chief spokesperson of the party for the state as well. And this elevation, of course, comes ahead of the assembly polls in 2026. And here, BJP, remember, is the principal opposition party in the state with about 38% vote share, lagging behind the ruling Trinamool, which had taken about 48% of the votes in last year's Lok Sabha polls. And of course, the task will be to take on the ruling TMC and strengthen the party organization, of course, ahead of the assembly polls, and bring the factions of the party together. And that's the breaking news we have right now. Aishwarya Kapoor, as executive editor, joins us on the phone line from Abhishek. Aishwarya, of course, important elevation. Okay, we'll just get you, Aishwarya, and just a while from now has shared the news with us. Shamik Bhattacharya, has been appointed the Bengal BJP chief ahead of the assembly elections next year. He has been elected unanimously. Shubhendu Adhikari has announced this update, has made the announcement, and said that it is with immense joy and he extends warmest congratulations to Shamik Bhattacharya. And of course, it will be an important time, the crucial time the appointment comes in. Okay, viewers, we are shifting our focus now. In response to recent comments by Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, Biocon Chief Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw has strongly defended the safety of COVID-19 vaccines, emphasizing the rigorous approval process and the life-saving impact they've had. Here's more.
Biocon Chief Kiran Majumdar-Shaw has strongly rebuked recent remarks by Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, who linked sudden deaths to the COVID-19 vaccine. Kiran Majumdar-Shaw clarified that the COVID-19 vaccines developed in India were approved under the Emergency Use Authorization Framework, following global standards for safety and efficacy. She emphasized that these vaccines, which have saved millions of lives, were not hastily approved as suggested. While acknowledging that vaccines may cause side effects in a small number of individuals, she stressed that these should not overshadow the benefits. Kiran Majumdar-Shaw called for a focus on science and data-driven processes behind vaccine development, urging the public to avoid spreading misinformation. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
All right, we're back with the news on the politics around Kamar Yatra, and of course the SP leaders continue to insult Yatra and those supporting after SP leader S.T. Hassan equated the Kamar Yatris to terrorists. Another SP leader, Ravidas Malhotra, has equated BJP to terrorists. The BJP has hit out at the Indie blog over Ravidas Malhotra's disparaging remarks. Republic also confronted the Samajwadi Party leader Malhotra over the row. Listen in.
कि पश्चिम बंगाल में निकल रही है कांवड़ यात्रा और कांवड़ यात्रा में जो लोग दुकान लगाते हैं उनसे उनकी जाति और धर्म पूछा जा रहा है और यहाँ तक कि उनकी पैंट खुलवा करके देखा जा रहा है कि ये किस धर्म के हैं। पूरे प्रदेश के अंदर जो पीडीए समाज है इसका भाजपा की सरकार उत्पीड़न कर रही है, धर्म और जात के नाम पर अन्याय कर रही है। तो जो आतंकवादी करते हैं, पहलगाम में आतंकवादियों ने धर्म पूछ करके लोगों की हत्या करने का काम किया, वही काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी कर रही है।
रविदास जी, ये बात शोभा देती है? रविदास जी, आप अपने एक विरोधी दल को देश का दुश्मन आतंकवादी कह रहे हैं, आप आतंकियों से तुलना बीजेपी की कर रहे हैं। वो भी एक राजनीतिक दल है, आप भी एक राजनीतिक दल है, आप कैसे तुलना कर रहे हैं? शोभा देती है बात?
देखिए, मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि आतंकवादियों ने पहलगाम में धर्म पूछ करके 26 निर्दोष और मासूम लोगों की हत्या करने का काम किया। उनको वो लोग शहीद हो गए और वही काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी कर रही है कि पीडीए समाज के लोगों से कह रही है कि आप अपनी दुकान पर अपना नाम लिखिए। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पूर्व में आदेश किया था कि ये किसी का जात और धर्म पूछ करके।
आपने जो बात कही मैं वो मान रहा हूं, पर आप भी राजनीति कर रहे हैं, वो दल भी राजनीति कर रहा है। एक राजनेता के नाते आप तो दशकों से राजनीति में हैं, आपातकाल को आपने भी देखा है। ये कैसा कमेंट आप कर रहे हैं? शोभा देता है इस तरीके का कमेंट कि ये राजनीतिक दल के कार्यकर्ता को आप आतंकवादी सीधे कह दे रहे, देश के दुश्मन कह दे रहे?
देखिए, हमने आपातकाल देखा नहीं है। हमने आपातकाल में 20 महीने जेल काटी है और 50 सालों से संघर्ष कर रहे हैं। जो पार्टी सत्ता में है, अगर वो लोगों का जाति और धर्म पूछ करके दुकान लगाने देगी, अगर वो कहेगी कि तुम पीडीए समाज के लोग हो, तुमको हम दुकान लगाने नहीं देंगे, तो वो नफरत बढ़ाने का काम कर रहे हैं।
कहाँ पे कहा है? कोई आपने कोई रिकॉर्ड देखा है, कोई कागज सरकार के ऑर्डर में देखा है कि पीडीए समाज को दुकान नहीं लगाने देंगे?
जी, आप मालूम कर लीजिए, पश्चिम उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर जो कांवड़ निकल रही है, उस कांवड़ यात्रा के अंदर जो लोग दलित लोग हैं वो दुकान नहीं लगा पा रहे हैं, जो मुस्लिम लोग हैं या पीडीए समाज के लोग हैं वो दुकान नहीं लगा पा रहे हैं। हर व्यक्ति को ये मौलिक अधिकार है कि वो दुकान लगाएं। अभी आपने देखा होगा महाकुंभ का आयोजन हुआ, उसमें परिसर में कहीं पर भी जो मुसलमान लोग थे उनकी दुकान लगने दी, और जब वहाँ पर भगदड़ मच गई तो वहाँ पर जो समाज के लोग थे, धर्म के लोग थे, उन लोगों ने अपने घर में रख करके घायलों की रक्षा करने का।
ये बात आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं, ये तो समाज के बीच की बात है, पर क्या राजनीति इतनी गिरावट तक चली जानी चाहिए कि राजनेता एक दूसरे से इतनी नफरत करने लगे कि आतंकी ही एक दूसरे को कहने लगे? शोभा देती है बात?
देखिए, हमारा कहना ये है, हमने ये कहा कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी और आतंकवादी दोनों एक ही सोच रखते हैं, और वो सोच ये है कि धर्म और जाति पूछ करके हमला कर रहे हैं।
वो जो आतंकी आए थे विधायक जी, वो जो आतंकी आए थे, लोगों को गोली मारने के बाद उनके परिजनों से कह के गए थे कि जाओ मोदी को बता देना, ये कह के गए थे, और आप उसी नेता की पार्टी के लिए
आज तक वो आतंकी गिरफ्तार क्यों नहीं हुए? वो आतंकी वहां पर पहलगाम में कैसे आगे जनता पूछ रही है, और उसके बाद वहां से धर्म पूछ करके गोली मारी।
आपका सवाल बिल्कुल लाजमी है, सवाल सरकार से पूछने वाला सवाल है, पर इस सवाल के साथ जो बात आप कह रहे हैं, जो तुलना आप कह रहे हैं, जस्टिफाई कैसे करेंगे उसको?
देखिए, हम इस तरह करेंगे कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार नफरत फैला रही है, और जो दलित लोग हैं
वो आप पर आरोप लगा रहे हैं कि आप आगरा में ठाकुर बनाम जो दलित है वो कर रहे हैं, इटावा में आप ब्राह्मण बनाम यादव कर रहे हैं। नफरत पर आरोप भाजपा आप पे लगा रही है, आप भी एक आरोप लगाते हैं, पर सीधे आतंकी कह देना।
देखिए, आगरा में भी और इटावा में भी दोनों स्थानों पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने पहल करी है। वहाँ पर आगरा में जो रामजी लाल सुमन हैं, उनके घर पर बाकायदा पूरा हमला हुआ, और हमला होने के बाद आगजनी हुई। ऐसे ही इटावा में एक धर्म का प्रचारक कर रहा था, वो बैकवर्ड जात का था, इसलिए उसके ऊपर हमला करने का काम किया। तो आज हम ये कहने के लिए मजबूर हो गए हैं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार जो है वो पीडीए समाज का उत्पीड़न कर रही है, अन्याय कर रही है, जुल्म कर रही है और तानाशाही के माध्यम से अब जो आदमी सरकार की आलोचना करता है उसको ये कह देते हैं कि राष्ट्रद्रोही है। अब हम ये बात कह रहे हैं कि दोनों
करिए राष्ट्र की करिए आलोचना, सरकार की आलोचना, राजनीतिक दल की आलोचना, ये गलत थोड़ी ना है, लेकिन ऐसी आतंकी कह देना, आपको लगता है कि ये भावना होगी? आप बीजेपी के नेताओं के संग उसी विधानसभा में आप बैठते हैं, विधायकी में चुनकर आप भी आए।
हमने उनको आतंकी नहीं कहा है, हमने कहा कि आतंकवाद जो लोग फैला रहे आतंकी हैं वो भी धर्म पूछ करके हत्या कर रहे हैं और भाजपा की सरकार भी धर्म और जाति पूछ करके दुकान लगाने दे रही है। अब अगर कोई दलित वर्ग का व्यक्ति है और वो दुकान लगा रहा है तो उससे कह रहे हैं कि तुम अपना नाम लिखो, अपना नाम बताओ कि तुम्हारा किस जाति के हो, किस धर्म के हो। तो इस तरीके से भाजपा की सरकार नफरत फैलाने का काम कर रही है।
All right, time for a short break, but we get you the latest update from Bageshwar Dham in MP, where due to a tent collapse, one devotee has been killed, one person has been killed, 3 have been injured. And citing public humiliation by Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, Karnataka police officer tenders his resignation.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
We'll have to take a look. We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible? He gets a lot of subsidies, Peter.
His rocket company is the only reason we can now send America astronauts into space. Take over, Elon. But Elon's very upset that the EV mandate is going to be terminated. And you know what? When you look at it, not everybody wants an electric car. I don't want an electric car. I want to have maybe gasoline, maybe electric, maybe a hybrid. Maybe someday a hydrogen. If you have a hydrogen car, it has one problem: it blows up.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Future wars will be conducted based upon intelligence input gathered from enemy's territory. Suppose there is a war with Pakistan or China or even Indian Ocean region.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Live and Breaking at 3 p.m. I am Tanisha Avasthi. There's a big update in the National Herald case. The Enforcement Directorate has made fresh details in the court. They've given out fresh details in the court where they've said that this is a classic case of money laundering. Not just that, there are other details as well, other revelations as well that the Enforcement Directorate has made in the court. We'll get you all that and much more. But first, a quick check of the headlines. SpiceJet flight window panel pops out of its socket. Airline downplays the incident, calls it cosmetic window frame. DGCA pulls up SpiceJet. Citing public humiliation by Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, Karnataka police officer tenders his resignation. One devotee killed, 8 injured after tent collapses at Bageshwar Dham in Madhya Pradesh. Broken first on Republic Bangla, Samik Bhattacharya appointed as the new West Bengal BJP chief. After ST Hassan, another Samajwadi Party leader insults Hindu faith. Republic questions SP leader Ravidas Mehrotra.
पहलगाम में आतंकवादियों ने धर्म पूछ करके लोगों की हत्या करने का काम किया, वही काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी कर रही है.
It's another huge win. And it's another huge win. Arnab hits 83.6%. Viewership swells even further. And we start this edition with the top story that's coming in, and it is about another aviation tragedy, another aviation lapse that has come to fore. This time from SpiceJet. Now, a window frame of a Goa-Pune SpiceJet flight came loose mid-air. But the cabin pressurization remained normal and passenger safety was not compromised. The airline flight SG1080 was on its way to Pune from Goa on Tuesday when the window frame nearly popped out, sending passengers into a freeze. Now we learn that SpiceJet has admitted, in fact, this is a video that has been captured by a passenger that showed the loose window frame as the plane was midair. So another huge lapse that has come to fore, this time from SpiceJet. The window mishap has hit SpiceJet, and they have also issued a statement on the incident that has happened. Remember, SpiceJet has accepted. We learned that the DGCA had summoned the SpiceJet officials, and the statement that was released by SpiceJet had admitted that there was a lapse on their part. The visual that we're getting in is from a SpiceJet plane. Now, this is mid-air, remember, when the window completely loosened on a SpiceJet plane. This was one of the video that was recorded by the passengers who were there in the flight. The SpiceJet team has also issued a statement wherein they say, and I quote, a cosmetic window frame on one of SpiceJet's Q400 aircraft became loose during flight and was found dislodged. Now, they've also said that it is important to note that there was a non-structural trim component fitted onto the window for the purpose of shade and did not compromise the safety or integrity of the aircraft in any way. They've also gone on to say that the cabin pressurization remained normal throughout the flight and there was no impact on passenger safety. The frame, they say, was fixed upon landing at the next station in accordance with standard maintenance procedure. On that note, we're also being joined by Captain Ishan Khalid. He's an aviation expert, also a veteran Indian Air Force pilot. Captain Nishan, thank you very much for speaking to Republic. It is a huge slap, no matter what the SpiceJet officials say. On the part of SpiceJet, it is mid-air when the window pane loosened. However, they say that there was no safety measures that the passengers had to go through. There was nothing that the passengers had to worry about. But this is a lapse that has come to fore from SpiceJet. It was certainly not normal. Please talk to us about the repercussions that it could have had had it been a much more worse case.
Okay, good afternoon to you and to your viewers. The window pane that has come out is something which, as the airline has said, is cosmetic in nature. It's like a fabric, and instead of fabric, there is a plastic mold kind of a thing that is attached to the window panes. And in extreme heat like we have nowadays, those adhesives do give way. But definitely this has got no correlation with the aircraft safety and pressurization, because this one has got nothing to do with pressurization. That is for sure. However, when you see things falling apart inside the aircraft, which is of cosmetic value, we as people who monitor aircraft-related maintenance activity, we have a feeling that if this is what we see, what would be going wrong in items that we don't see? Now that is where the quality control would come in. Right now, this is not a safety feature, but do we really know that all other measures which are safety-related are also being looked at, being maintained in the similar manner? It's like, if you have a PA system which is not working, if you have a flush which is not working, it's actually telling a story that, there are other things that needs to be looked into with more detail, because small mistakes that we see that is being pointed out by your channel and by others, is actually a pointer to a bigger thing, which the airline has to actually address.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Captain Ishan Khalid, thank you very much on that note for speaking to Republic. We quickly move forward to the other stories that we're tracking on the broadcast now. This one is from Noida, where during an encounter, the robber got injured after being shot in the leg. Another phase of Operation Langra that has now come to fore. The encounter took place during checking near Noida Sector 54, where 2 pistols, cartridges and stolen scooty and money from the looted were recovered from the possession of the criminal earlier. Now, the other accomplice of the criminal was arrested during the encounter as well. Operation Langra, therefore, in full swing. Remember, this is the 3rd phase of Operation Langra that is going on. Earlier in the past few weeks, we saw nearly 15 encounters in a day that took place in Uttar Pradesh. Today, a fresh encounter in the form of Operation Langra in Noida Sector 54 in Uttar Pradesh, where a robber was shot on the leg. This after pistols and cartridges were recovered from him. The criminal was arrested during the encounter. We learned that his other accomplice has also been arrested. All right, we'll try and get Akhil on that breaking news that's coming in. Akhil, I believe, is joining us on the broadcast on that. Akhil, talk to us about what the operation today was specifically targeted and aimed at, and who is this accused that we see on our cameras, on our frame, that has been shot on the leg by the UP police?
Fresh development, what we have seen, that an encounter broke out between the Noida police and the robbers. So what has happened that during the encounter, initially the police tried to stop the accused in connection with the case, and he fired at the police. And after that, in self-defense, when the police fired in that encounter, what we have got to see that the accused has got injury in his leg, and during that encounter, which took place at around earlier this very morning in Sector 54 T-point area, and after that, the Noida police team has recovered 2 pistols, cartridges, stolen a scooty, as well as they have also recovered some cash from the possession of that criminal. So while speaking to the Republic TV, additional DCP of Noida, Sumit Shukla, has confirmed that this other accomplices of this very accused has already been arrested in the past. So right now, in this fresh development case, one more accused has been arrested who has got other connections in some other related case.
When you're telling
money, looting money and
lost that connection with you, but we'll get back to you on that top story. Moving forward quickly to the other stories that we are tracking. Now, the Enforcement Directorate has made significant submissions in the National Herald money laundering case. Now, the ED alleges that Congress devised a plan to acquire Associated Journals Limited, the AGL, assets worth rupees 2,000 crore through Young Indian, a company that was owned by Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Now, the Enforcement Directorate claims that this was a classic case of money laundering and that every individual who is responsible for running the business will be liable. So that's a huge claim and an allegation, a revelation, in fact, that the Enforcement Directorate has made in the court. Trouble seems to be mounting for the Gandhi family, specifically for Sonia and Rahul Gandhi. Meanwhile, ASG for the Enforcement Directorate also spoke regarding the case. Let's listen in.
I have completed my arguments subject to my rejoinder. The other side was to argue at 2:30, but it was inconvenient, so they've asked time till tomorrow, which the court has agreed. I made out a case that it's an absolutely fabulous case as far as taking of common is concerned. It's an open and shut case.
Sir, you made a submission before the court today that Young India is a vehicle, a paper entity that was used. What was this and what your submission is?
You are all present in the court. Young Indian was used for the purpose of usurping properties worth almost 2,000 crores of AGM. That's our case. And it's documented. It's an open and shut case.
Riyanka is joining us from the national capital on that. Riyanka, a big claim that has been made by the Enforcement Directorate. What could be the ramifications of this big revelation by the Enforcement Directorate for the Gandhis now?
Well, we already know that Congress leaders Sonia Gandhi as well as Rahul Gandhi have been under the dock because of the National Herald case that has been going on for quite some time now. And after the ED completed with its charge sheet and the hearing has been on in the Dow's Avenue Court for the past 2 days, where the Enforcement Directorate went ahead and put forward the argument. From the side of the ED, it was ASG Raju, who in fact noted that the Congress provided a loan of nearly rupees 90 crore to the Associate Journal Limited, which had no means to repay despite holding assets of worth rupees 2,000 crores, I beg your pardon. And this was the amount that was somewhere being, prudently, as we understand, where ASG Raju has said that he has alleged that the Congress tried to take over the AJL, that is the Associate Journal, by setting up a new company called Young Indian, which was then controlled by the Gandhis, and they knew that all the activities which were going on under the PMLA was happening. And what we understand that he has also very clearly said that those who have been part of the business, they will be liable for any sort of a questioning as well as responsibility that needs to be taken. Now, what we also understand that Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi had shares for nearly 7%, and it was an abusive position by Sonia Gandhi as well as Rahul Gandhi, who held the position of director at that point in time. So that means that the Congress party is finding itself once again in a dock. And from the side of the Congress, it is Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who will be.
Absolutely, Riyanka. Yes, thank you very much for sharing these details, Riyanka. We'll get back to you when there are more updates in the story. But for now, we move on now in response to recent comments by the Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. Biocon Chief Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw has strongly defended the safety of COVID-19 vaccines, emphasizing their rigorous approval process and the life-saving impact that they have had. Here's more on her statement.
Biocon Chief Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw has strongly rebuked recent remarks by Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, who linked sudden deaths to the COVID-19 vaccine. Kiran Majumdar-Shaw clarified that the COVID-19 vaccines developed in India were approved under the Emergency Use Authorization Framework following global standards for safety and efficacy. She emphasized that these vaccines, which have saved millions of lives, were not hastily approved as suggested. While acknowledging that vaccines may cause side effects in a small number of individuals, she stressed that these should not overshadow the benefits. Kiran Majumdar-Shaw called for a focus on science and data-driven processes behind vaccine development, urging the public to avoid spreading misinformation. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
The Karnataka officer that was nearly slapped by Siddaramaiah, the Karnataka Chief Minister, we learn has now resumed work. He says that he was conveyed his feelings to his superiors and that his work has now been resumed. Remember, this was the Karnataka officer that was nearly slapped by the Karnataka Chief Minister. Narayana Barmani has decided earlier to take voluntary retirement just days after being publicly humiliated by the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. Remember, earlier in a statement, he felt that he couldn't have avoided the slap, but he could have avoided the humiliation. But now, in a big turn of events, we learn that the Karnataka IPS officer says that he has resumed work and that he has conveyed his feelings to the superiors that he had in office and that he has resumed work. This is the big story that we have coming in from Karnataka. The people in power humiliating the people who are in uniform. All right, we're also getting a reaction from the ASP. Let's listen in to what they have to say on the story.
ನನ್ನ ಭಾವನೆಗಳನ್ನು ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಈ ಕುರಿತು ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಗೃಹ ಸಚಿವರು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದರು. ಈಗ ನಾನು ದೈನಂದಿನ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಜರಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
ಸರ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಈಗ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ ಸರ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ?
All right, so that was the officer who said that he is resuming duty and that he has conveyed his feelings to his superiors and that he has conveyed regarding the problems that he had. But remember, this is a big twist that's coming in the story. Earlier, the same police officer had said that he had faced humiliation and that he couldn't have avoided the slap, but he could have avoided the humiliation, and hence, thereby, he had decided earlier to take voluntary resignation. But now he has changed his decision. Remember, this incident comes from Dharwad in Karnataka, where during an event, it was the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah who nearly went on to slap the police officer who was on duty. Abhishek, my colleague, is joining us live from Bengaluru on that. Abhishek, is this twist in the story, is this move by the IPS officer voluntary or was it done under pressure?
Well, as of now, what we know is Barmani wanted to resign from his services because of the humiliation he faced in the open stage in front of thousands of people who had gathered with respect to Congress protests against the union government of price hike, after which he resigned, saying that he was openly humiliated and there is no respect for the officers in this current government. After which he also spoke to the media stating that he has resigned his duties after having a conversation with the Home Minister and the Chief Minister in a written format. And also, he claims until the next orders, he will be resuming his work and he'll be disposing his duties as what the department requires. So we will have to wait and see if the Home Minister or the top up from the department has demanded that he continues his service or his resignation has been denied. We will have to wait for some more time to get the actual clarity from ASP Barmani with respect to him starting his duties back in line. Back to you.
Thank you very much for getting those details. Another story that's coming in from Karnataka again, and this is about the power tussle between the Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and the Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivakumar, where BJP MP Basavaraja Bommai has raised fresh concerns over the alleged 2.5-year power sharing deal that was earlier decided on between the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka DK Shivakumar, calling it a major obstacle to governance. He claims that the deal left the state's administration in disarray, in a lurch, and as leaders struggle to secure their position. In response to the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's recent remarks about completing a full 5-year term. Basavaraj Bommai, the BJP MP, has further questioned the stability of the Congress-led government in the state of Karnataka, suggesting that such statements fuel doubts among both party members and the public.
On the formation of this government about 2.5 years back, this buzz is going on. There is a deal for 2.5 years of Siddaramaiah and 2.5 years for D.K. Shivakumar. And this has got a lot of bearing on the stability of the government, administration, and as well as fight for corruption. Therefore, the Karnataka people are suffering. And every day there are statements from both sides MLAs and ministers speak. One seeks change in leadership and somebody says he'll there, Siddaramaiah will there for 5 years.
All right, big breaking news now coming in from the state of Uttar Pradesh, where there has been a major security breach during Akhilesh Yadav's public event in Uttar Pradesh's Azamgarh. Now this is after a youth jumped into the barricade, thereby dismissing the security that was there for Akhilesh Yadav. Now remember, this happened as the security of Samajwadi Party President Akhilesh Yadav was breached during a public event in Uttar Pradesh's Azamgarh. Now a video of the same has gone viral. It showed a youth jumping over the security barricade. He was later taken into custody by the police. That's the initial details that we are getting. We, however, have no details right now on who the youth is and what was his main target, main agenda. Ajay Dubey is joining us live on the broadcast on that. Ajay Dubey, what is the case all about? Why do we know the reasons on why this youth jumped the barricades and breached the security for the Samajwadi Party President Akhilesh Yadav?
See, this is not happening time with Samajwadi Party. Such events where in public is indisciplined activities of Samajwadi Party. This is always a discussion. They keep doing such things, keep disturbing, and this is also an example of such an incident. And right now, this is investigating this issue. As you can see in visuals, the policeman may have captured him now in custody, and they're asking to him. But the important is that it's not happening first time. This behavior of Samajwadi Party's cadre and discipline is always there. They always try to reach to Akhilesh Yadav and to communicate with him. So this is now what is happening in Azamgarh, and police is asking questions to the individual.
Right, Ajay, thank you very much for sharing those details with us. Meanwhile, moving on to the other stories that we are tracking on this edition. This one has made international headlines. All right, before we move across to the international headlines that's coming in, we believe the Prime Minister is making a statement. Remember, he is about to reach the Parliament of Ghana shortly. He will be making a historic and an important speech in the Parliament of Ghana. But this is the latest visuals that we are getting in from the Prime Minister's visit to Ghana. It was just earlier today in the morning when the Prime Minister was awarded with the highest honor for distinguished statesmanship, influential global leadership. The Prime Minister held a bilateral as well. He held a bilateral meeting with the President of Ghana at the Jubilee House in Accra last night. Both leaders had discussed various ways to strengthen and deepen the bilateral relations. 4 MOUs, we learn, were also signed following the talks, including the areas of cultural exchange and traditional music. In his joint press statement following the talks, the Prime Minister announced that they have decided to give India-Ghana partnership the form of a comprehensive partnership. Now, Prime Minister Modi was also conferred with Ghana's highest state honor in recognition of his distinguished statesmanship and influential global leadership. The Prime Minister arrived in Accra, remember, yesterday on a state visit to Ghana. He was accorded a ceremonial welcome by the President, including a guard of honor and 21 gun salute at the airport. Now, these are the latest visuals that we are getting of the Prime Minister, who is visiting the Kwame Memorial Park in Ghana. The Prime Minister had arrived yesterday in Ghana. We learned that in just a short while from now, we will also be addressing the Ghana Parliament, and we will be covering that live. It's going to be a historic speech that the Prime Minister will be giving in the Ghana Parliament. It was just few hours back when the Prime Minister also held a bilateral meeting with the President of Ghana at the Jubilee House in Accra last night. Both leaders discussed various ways to strengthen and deepen bilaterals. In fact, the big breaking news was that the Prime Minister had announced that they have decided to give the India-Ghana partnership the form of a comprehensive partnership, thereby making a strong bond with Ghana. Prime Minister arrived on Ghana yesterday. It is a historic state visit, by the first Indian leader in 3 decades. The last such visit was made by Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao in November 1995. Now remember, this visit is being hailed as a reaffirmation of the deep-rooted diplomatic and historical ties between the two nations. This was originally forged under the leadership of Ghana's first president and India's founding Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. It marks the first stop on Prime Minister Modi's 5-nation tour, which will conclude at the BRICS summit, which is going to be held in Brazil. Speaking to the media after the bilateral talks at the Jubilee House in Accra, President John emphasized that the significance of a visit, describing it as a milestone that lays the foundation for a renewed era of partnership and cooperation across the key sectors. Kruthat, my colleague, is joining me live from the newsroom on that. Kruthat, in just a short while from now, we will witness the historic speech of the Prime Minister in the Parliament of Ghana. Talk to us about why is it that this speech is going to be very, very historic.
As you were rightly mentioning earlier, Tanisha, that this is the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Ghana in almost 30 years. And as we have seen in the past few years, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been one of the very vocal leaders representing the global south. In fact, India played a very key role during the G20 summit in the inclusion of the African Union as part of the G20 collaboration group. So this visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which is on the sidelines of BRICS, he's taking 5 different stops, the first of which is in Ghana, which is a very important bilateral partner, almost $5 billion in bilateral trade between the two, or $3 billion in bilateral trade between the two nations. Ghana remains a very important trading partner for India, and particularly at the moment, the visuals that we are seeing is from the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial, also known as KNMP, which is located in downtown Accra, which is the capital of Ghana. It is dedicated to a very prominent Ghanaian leader, Dr. Nkrumah. The memorial complex was dedicated to him in 1992 and is situated on the side of a former British colonial polo grounds where the independence of Ghana was declared. So this is a very significant place, the location at which Prime Minister Narendra Modi is now in the decolonization journey of Ghana in their fight of independence. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi there jotting down his thoughts as he visits a very important site in downtown Accra, which is linked to the independence of Ghana also from the British. At the moment, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also be talking about decolonization and the global south in the speech subsequently, where he is set to address the parliament.
Absolutely, Krutha. Thank you very much for sharing those details. It's time for us to now slip into a short break, but after the break, we'll get you more details of the Prime Minister's historic visit to Ghana. And in fact, in just a short while from now, the historic speech that the Prime Minister will be making in the Parliament of Ghana.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
future wars will be conducted based upon intelligence input gathered from enemy's territory. Suppose there is a war with Pakistan or China or even Indian Ocean region, then we have to know what.
Very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching live and breaking, and I'm Rakshita Mishra with you. The Prime Minister is in Ghana, and he will be soon addressing the Parliament of Ghana. It will be a historic address, so stand by for that. Let's take a look at the headlines. Prime Minister Modi to address Ghana Parliament shortly. Prime Minister pays homage to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. SpiceJet flight window panel pops out of its socket. Airline downplays incident, calls it cosmetic. Window frame. DGCA pulls up SpiceJet. Karnataka police officer who has tendered his resignation after humiliation by Karnataka Chief Minister resumes duties. One devotee killed, 8 injured after tent collapses at the Bhageshwar Dham in MP. Shamik Bhattacharya is appointed as the new West Bengal BJP chief.
आतंकवादियों ने धर्म पूछ करके लोगों की हत्या करने का काम किया, वही काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी कर रही है.
After ST Hassan, another SP leader insults Hindu faith. He also likens BJP to terrorists. Republic questions SP leader Ravidas Mehrotra. It's another huge win. Arnav hits 83.6% viewership, swells even further. Politics on Kanwar Yatra continues after SP leader ST Hassan equated the Kanwar Yatri to terrorists. Today, another SP leader, Ravidas Mehrotra, equated BJP to terrorists. And Republic TV, in fact, also has gone on to confront Mr. Mehrotra. Listen in.
कि पश्चिम बंगाल में निकल रही है कांवड़ यात्रा, और कांवड़ यात्रा में जो लोग दुकान लगाते हैं उनसे उनकी जाति और धर्म पूछा जा रहा है, और यहाँ तक कि उनकी पैंट खुलवा करके देखा जा रहा है कि ये किस धर्म के हैं. पूरे प्रदेश के अंदर जो पीडीए समाज है, इसका भाजपा की सरकार उत्पीड़न कर रही है, धर्म और जात के नाम पर अन्याय कर रही है. तो जो आतंकवादी करते हैं, पहलगाम में आतंकवादियों ने धर्म पूछ करके लोगों की हत्या करने का काम किया, वही काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी कर रही है.
रविदास जी, ये बात शोभा देती है? रविदास जी, आप अपने एक विरोधी दल को देश का दुश्मन आतंकवादी कह रहे हैं. आप आतंकियों से तुलना बीजेपी की कर रहे हैं. वो भी एक राजनीतिक दल है, आप भी एक राजनीतिक दल है. आप कैसी तुलना कर रहे हैं? शोभा देती है बात?
देखिए, मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि आतंकवादियों ने पहलगाम में धर्म पूछ करके 26 निर्दोष और मासूम लोगों की हत्या करने का काम किया। उनको शहीद, वो लोग शहीद हो गए। और वही काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी कर रही है कि पीडीए समाज के लोगों से कह रही है कि आप अपनी दुकान पर अपना नाम लिखिए। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पूर्व में आदेश किया था कि ये किसी का जात और धर्म पूछ करके।
आपने जो बात कही मैं वो मान रहा हूं, पर आप भी राजनीति कर रहे हैं, वो दल भी राजनीति कर रहा है। एक राजनेता के नाते आप तो दशकों से राजनीति में हैं, आपातकाल को आपने भी देखा है। ये कैसा कमेंट आप कर रहे हैं? शोभा देता है इस तरीके का कमेंट कि राजनीतिक दल के कार्यकर्ता को आप आतंकवादी सीधे कह दे रहे, देश के दुश्मन कह दे रहे?
देखिए, हमने आपातकाल देखा नहीं है। हमने आपातकाल में 20 महीने जेल काटी है और 50 सालों से संघर्ष कर रहे हैं। जो पार्टी सत्ता में है, अगर वो लोगों का जाति और धर्म पूछ करके दुकान लगाने देगी, अगर वो कहेगी कि तुम पीडीए समाज के लोग हो, तुमको हम दुकान लगाने नहीं देंगे, तो वो नफरत बढ़ाने का काम कर रहे हैं।
कहाँ पे कहा है? कोई आपने कोई रिकॉर्ड देखा है, कोई कागज सरकार के ऑर्डर में देखा है कि पीडीए समाज को दुकान नहीं लगाने देंगे?
जी, आप मालूम कर लीजिए, पश्चिम उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर जो कांवड़ निकल रही है, उस कांवड़ यात्रा के अंदर जो लोग दलित लोग हैं वो दुकान नहीं लगा पा रहे हैं। जो मुस्लिम लोग हैं या पीडीए समाज के लोग हैं वो दुकान नहीं लगा पा रहे हैं। हर व्यक्ति को ये मौलिक अधिकार है कि वो दुकान लगाएं। अभी आपने देखा होगा महाकुंभ का आयोजन हुआ, उसमें परिसर में कहीं पर भी जो मुसलमान लोग थे उनकी दुकान लगने दी, और जब वहाँ पर भगदड़ मच गई तो वहाँ पर जो समाज के लोग थे, धर्म के लोग थे, उन लोगों ने अपने घर में रख करके घायलों की रक्षा करने का काम।
बात आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं, ये तो समाज के बीच की बात है। पर क्या राजनीति इतनी गिरावट तक चली जानी चाहिए कि राजनेता एक दूसरे से इतनी नफरत करने लगे कि आतंकी ही एक दूसरे को कहने लगे? शोभा देती है बात?
कि हमारा कहना ये है, हमने ये कहा कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी और आतंकवादी दोनों एक ही सोच रखते हैं, और वो सोच ये है कि धर्म और जात पूछ करके हमला कर रहे हैं।
वो जो आतंकी आए थे विधायक जी, वो जो आतंकी आए थे, लोगों को गोली मारने के बाद उनके परिजनों से कह के गए थे कि जाओ मोदी को बता देना, ये कह के गए थे, और आप उसी नेता की पार्टी के लिए
आज तक वो आतंकी गिरफ्तार क्यों नहीं हुए? वो आतंकी वहां पर पहलगाम में कैसे आ गए, जनता पूछ रही है, और उसके बाद वहां से धर्म पूछ करके गोली मारी।
आपका सवाल बिल्कुल लाजमी है, सवाल सरकार से पूछने वाला सवाल है, पर इस सवाल के साथ जो बात आप कह रहे हैं, जो तुलना आप कह रहे हैं, जस्टिफाई कैसे करेंगे उसको?
देखिए, हम इस तरह करेंगे कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार नफरत फैला रही है, और जो दलित लोग हैं
वो आप पर आरोप लगा रहे हैं कि आप आगरा में ठाकुर बनाम जो दलित है वो कर रहे हैं, इटावा में आप ब्राह्मण बनाम यादव कर रहे हैं। नफरत पर आरोप भाजपा आप पे लगा रही है, आप भी एक आरोप लगाते हैं, पर सीधे आतंकी कह देना।
देखिए, आगरा में भी और इटावा में भी दोनों स्थानों पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने पहल करी है। वहाँ पर आगरा में जो रामजी लाल सुमन हैं, उनके घर पर बाकायदा पूरा हमला हुआ, और हमला होने के बाद आगजनी हुई। ऐसे ही इटावा में एक धर्म का प्रचारक कर रहा था, वो बैकवर्ड जात का था, इसलिए उसके ऊपर हमला करने का काम किया। तो आज हम ये कहने के लिए मजबूर हो गए हैं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार जो है वो पीडीए समाज का उत्पीड़न कर रही है, अन्याय कर रही है, जुल्म कर रही है, और तानाशाही के माध्यम से अब जो आदमी सरकार की आलोचना करता है उसको ये कह देते हैं कि राष्ट्रद्रोही है। अब हम ये बात कह रहे हैं कि दोनों
ये राष्ट्र की करिए आलोचना, सरकार की आलोचना, राजनीतिक दल की आलोचना, ये गलत थोड़ी ना है, लेकिन ऐसी आतंकी कह देना, आपको लगता है कि ये भावना होगी? आप बीजेपी के नेताओं के संग उसी विधानसभा में आप बैठते हैं, विधायकी में चुनकर आप भी आए।
हमने उनको आतंकी नहीं कहा है, हमने कहा कि आतंकवाद जो लोग फैला रहे आतंकी हैं, वो भी धर्म पूछ करके हत्या कर रहे हैं, और भाजपा की सरकार भी धर्म और जाति पूछ करके दुकान लगाने दे रही है। अब अगर कोई दलित वर्ग का व्यक्ति है और वो दुकान लगा रहा है, तो उससे कह रहे हैं कि तो अपना नाम लिखो, अपना नाम बताओ कि तुम्हारा किस जाति के हो, किस धर्म के हो। तो इस तरीके से भाजपा की सरकार नफरत फैलाने का काम कर रही है।
Meanwhile, the BJP has slammed the Samajwadi Party for politics on the Kanwar Yatra and insulting Sanatan Dharm. Listen into reactions coming in from the BJP.
समाजवादी पार्टी किस प्रकार के बयान दे रही? पहले
कावड़ यात्रा में शामिल होने वाले लोगों को गालियां देना, उनको नफरती कहना, उनकी तुलना पहलगाम के आतंकियों से करना और अब समाजवादी पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेता ने पूरी भारतीय जनता पार्टी और उसके तमाम कार्यकर्ता, करोड़ों कार्यकर्ता उसके
Live shots coming in from Ghana, where the Prime Minister is all set to address the Parliament of Ghana. This is going to be a historic visit. And viewers, of course, trade has been doubled. UPI is going global. 4 MOUs have already been signed between India and Ghana. He's in Accra of Ghana. And it's a historic visit in the African nation. He has been conferred with the highest state honor, the Officer of the Order of the Star of Ghana. This is the live visual that coming in from the Parliament of Ghana, where the Prime Minister is seated, and he will be shortly addressing the Parliament of Ghana. In fact, he has been awarded the Officer of the Order of the Star of Ghana, and it's a top honor for the Prime Minister. It was presented during his visit to Ghana. It's a first visit by an Indian Prime Minister in more than 30 years. It has its own significance. And in fact, he has been conferred with 24 global awards, including the countries from Palestine and Russia this year. In total, in fact, as tweeted by BJP ID cell chief. All right, so in just a few moments from now, we understand that the Prime Minister will be addressing the Parliament of Ghana. And in fact, this is the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister in the African country in over 30 years. He was greeted with chants of Hare Ram, Hare Krishna yesterday when he landed. And he held a delegation-level meeting with President Mahama at the Jubilee House as well. And he was also presented with a ceremonial guard of honor. And later, of course, the highest civilian honor by the President, John Mahama. And of course, warm gestures there, underscoring the deep-rooted friendship between the two nations, but taking this a step ahead with this historic 5-nation tour. As part of the Prime Minister's 5-nation tour, Prime Minister also spoke about terrorism. He spoke about strengthening mutual cooperation in counter-terrorism. He was very clear in that message. And he's in Ghana right now. He's set to visit Trinidad and Tobago on the 3rd and 4th of July. He'll be leaving for Trinidad and Tobago today. And then it will be followed by his visit to Argentina. And the last stop in his tour will be Namibia. And that is going to be a historic visit. So it's a 5-nation visit of the Prime Minister. And right now he's in Ghana. India and Ghana signing 4 memorandums of understanding to strengthen bilateral ties. And the MOU includes a cultural exchange program to deepen cooperation in art, music, dance, literature and heritage. MOU between the Bureau of Indian Standards and the Ghana Standards Authority to enhance collaboration in standardization and certification.
Commendation, the presence of His Excellency Shri Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India, in this August House. You know, even before independence, we took a lot of inspiration from India, right up from the formation of student groups in London up to the time of their independence on the 15th of August, 1947. His Excellency, the Prime Minister is here to address the House pursuant to Order 67-1K of the Standing Orders of Parliament of Ghana. On behalf of leadership and honorable members, it is my privilege and singular honor to welcome His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India, to this August House. Honorable members, with your indulgence, I have the greatest pleasure to invite His Excellency to address the House. Your Excellency, You may deliver your address now.
The Right Honorable Speaker, leadership of the House, honorable members of Parliament, members of the Council of States, members of the Diplomatic Corps, representatives of political parties, the Gamantase, independent constitutional bodies, civil society organizations, the Indian community in Ghana, Mache, good morning. I am deeply honored to address this esteemed House today. It is a privilege to be in Ghana, a land that radiates the spirit of democracy, dignity, and resilience. As the representative of the world's largest democracy, I bring with me the goodwill and greetings of 1.4 billion Indians. Ghana is known as the land of gold, not just for what lies under your soil, but as much for the warmth and strength in your heart. When we look at Ghana, we see a nation that shines with courage, that rises above history, that meets every challenge with dignity and grace. Your commitment to democratic ideals and inclusive progress truly makes Ghana a beacon of inspiration for the entire African continent. Friends, last evening was a deeply moving experience. Receiving your national award from my dear friend, President Mahama, is an honor. I will always cherish that. इस सम्मान के लिए मैं 140 करोड़ भारतीयों की तरफ से घाना के लोगों का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। On behalf of the 1.4 billion people of India, I thank the people of Ghana for this honor. I dedicate it to the enduring friendship and shared values that bind India and Ghana. Distinguished members, earlier today, I had the honor of paying tribute to a visionary and statesman and beloved son of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He once said, "The forces that unite us are intrinsic and greater than the superimposed influences that keep us apart." His words continue to guide our shared journey. His vision was a democratic republic built on strong institutions. True democracy promotes discussion and debate. It unites people. It supports dignity and promotes human rights. Democratic values may take time to grow, but it is our responsibility to preserve and nurture them. Friends, India is the mother of democracy. हमारे लिए लोकतंत्र एक सिस्टम नहीं बल्कि संस्कार है। हजारों वर्षों से लोकतंत्र ने भारतीय समाज को निरंतर गति दी है। फॉर अस डेमोक्रेसी इज नॉट merely a system. It is a part of our fundamental values. From thousands of years ago, we have examples of centers like Vaishali. The Rig Veda, one of the world's oldest scriptures, says, "Ano bhadraha kratavo yantu vishwatah." It means let good thoughts come to us from all directions. This openness to ideas is the core of democracy. India has over 2,500 political parties. I repeat, 2,500 political parties. different parties governing different states. 22 official languages, thousands of dialects. This is also the reason that people who came to India have always been welcomed with open hearts. The same spirit helps Indians integrate easily wherever they go. Even in Ghana, they have blended into society just like sugar in tea. Distinguished members, the histories of India and Ghana bear the scars of colonial rule, but our spirits have always remained free and fearless. We draw strength and inspiration from our rich heritage. We take pride in our social, cultural, and linguistic diversity. We built nations rooted in freedom, unity, and dignity. Our relationship knows no bounds. And with your permission, may I say, our friendship is sweeter than your famous sugar loaf pineapple. With President Mahama, we have decided to elevate our ties to a comprehensive partnership. Friends, the world order created after the Second World War is changing fast. The revolution in technology, the rise of the global south, and shifting demographics are contributing to its pace and scale. The challenges, such as colonial rule, that humanity has faced in the earlier centuries, still persist in different forms. The world is also facing new and complex crises such as climate change, pandemics, terrorism, and cybersecurity. Institutions created in the last century are struggling to respond. The changing circumstances demand credible and effective reforms in global governance. Progress cannot come without giving voice to the global south. We need more than slogans. We need action. That is why, during India's G20 presidency, we worked with the vision, one earth, one family, one future. We put emphasis on Africa's rightful place at the global high table. We are proud that the African Union became a permanent member of the G20 during our presidency. Friends, for India, our philosophy is humanity first. We believe in Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Paschantu, Ma Kaschid Dukh Bhag Bhavet. It means, may all be happy, may all be free from illness, may all feel what is auspicious, may no one suffer in any way. This philosophy embodies India's approach to the world. It guided our actions during the COVID pandemic. We shared vaccines and medicines with over 150 countries, including our friends in Ghana. We launch Mission Life, Lifestyle for Environment. To address climate change and promote sustainable living. This inclusive spirit powers our global initiative like One World, One Sun, One Grid. And One World, One Health for a healthier planet. International Solar Alliance to encourage solar energy and sustainability. International Big Cat Alliance to protect wildlife. And the Global Biofuel Alliance to advance clean biofuels and cut carbon emissions. I am glad that Ghana, as a founding member, will host the African regional meeting for the International Solar Alliance this September. This demonstrates our shared belief that the world is one family. Distinguished members, over the past decade, India has seen a major transformation. The people of India have reposed their faith in peace, security, and development. Last year, they re-elected the same government for the third consecutive time. Something that happened after more than 6 decades. Today, India is the fastest growing emerging economy. On the foundations of stable polity and good governance, India will soon be the third largest economy. We already contribute nearly 16% to global growth. Our demography is paying its dividend. India now has the world's third largest startup ecosystem. India is an innovation and technology hub where global companies want to converge. We are recognized as the pharmacy of the world. Indian women today lead in science, space, aviation, and sports. India landed on the moon. And today, an Indian is in orbit giving wings to our human space flight mission. और कितना सुखद संयोग है कि भारत के कई गौरव भरे क्षण में अफ्रीका जुड़ा हुआ है। जब भारत ने चंद्रयान के चांद के साउथ पोल पर लैंड किया तो उस दिन भी मैं अफ्रीका में था। और आज जब एक भारतीय एस्ट्रोनॉट मानवता के उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए स्पेस स्टेशन में एक्सपेरिमेंट्स कर रहा है, मैं एक बार फिर अफ्रीका में हूं। अफ्रीका हैज बीन कनेक्टेड to many of India's proudest moments in space. When India's Chandrayaan landed on the moon's south pole, I was in Africa. And today, as an Indian astronaut conducts experiments on board space station for the welfare of humanity, I am once again in Africa. This is no ordinary coincidence. It reflects the deep bond we share, our common aspirations, and our shared future. Our development is inclusive. Our growth touches the lives of every Indian. The people of India have resolved to make India a developed nation by 2047, when we celebrate 100 years of independence. As Ghana continues to pursue the path of progress and prosperity, India shall walk with you shoulder to shoulder on this road. Friends, आज ग्लोबल उठा पटक के हर किसी के लिए चिंता का कारण है। ऐसे में भारत का लोकतंत्र आशा की किरण बना हुआ है। उसी प्रकार से भारत की विकास यात्रा ग्लोबल ग्रोथ को गति देने वाली है। विश्व का सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र एक ऐसा स्तंभ है जो जितना मजबूत होगा, दुनिया को उतना ही सशक्त बनाएगा, वैश्विक स्थिरता बढ़ाने में योगदान करेगा। In these times of global uncertainty, India's democratic stability shines as a ray of hope. India's rapid progress is a catalyst for global growth. As the world's largest democracy, India is a pillar of strength for the world. A strong India will contribute to more stable and prosperous world. After all, our mantra is सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास, सबका प्रयास. It means together for everyone's growth, with everyone's trust and effort. India remains a committed partner in Africa's development journey. We support Africa's Development Framework Agenda 2063 to secure a bright and sustainable future for its people. Africa's goals are our priorities. Our approach is to grow together as equals. Our development partnership with Africa is demand-driven. It is focused on building local capacities and creating local opportunities. Our objective is not just to invest, but to empower, to help develop self-sustaining ecosystems. It is my honor to give further momentum to this partnership. In 2015, we hosted the India-Africa Summit. President Mahama was one of our esteemed guests. In 2017, India hosted the annual meeting of the African Development Bank. We have expanded our diplomatic presence to 46 countries across Africa. Over 200 projects across the continent enhance connectivity, infrastructure, and industrial capacity. Every year, our India